Hello and welcome to Retirement Today. I'm filling in today for Jenna Carnes with our lovely co-host Jaclyn. Nice to see you as always.
Well, nice to see you, Priscilla. It's so great to have you back on the show. I've missed you. What have you been up to?
Oh goodness, the 4th of July just passed. So me and the family, of course, spent some time together and watched some fireworks. And believe it or not, there was some crazy weather. It was so hot, but it was
Yes.
almost like we got blessed with some cool rain and it was just a nice evening. So it turned out good. What about you?
Yeah, I would say the same. I mean, I'm very fortunate. My parents have a pool in their backyard, and so
Uh,
it was honestly a great weekend to have a pool rather than be in the middle of a lake because there's some horror stories I've heard of like people that got stuck out on the lake because these storms would just come through so fast and you couldn't get off in time. You weren't prepared. And so it was nice to just kind of walk inside rather than have to get off of a boat.
Yeah, however, I will say before we started recording, I do believe a boat is in our near future.
Yes, I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. I really wish I knew more people with a boat.
Yeah, well, hey, after today's topic, maybe we'll pull in the crowd of the boaters. But for today, we are just going to talk about one of my favorite tools that we use here at Beacon Wealth Advisory, and that is the color of money risk analysis.
Mm.
And I know it sounds complicated, but really it's just a way that your investments match your personality. And if you are a current client, then I am sure you have heard us mention the Comra or color of money once or twice.
Yes. Well, and I'm super excited about this because it's such an important topic to also learn about yourself. I mean, I don't really know what my level of risk is. I could say I do, but do I really will it match after doing the kind of quiz or questionnaire? And so I just want to briefly mention before we get started that our listeners and viewers, you can find our podcast. You can search up Retirement Today on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon Music. And you can also search on YouTube, and we love the YouTube. Is that what old people say? The YouTube? I think I'm
The
old.
the Facebook, yeah.
Anyways, please go find our podcast, Retirement Today, so you can watch our beautiful faces.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the goal really isn't just about building a portfolio. It's really building one that you can stick with and have financial peace of mind. So we'll get to the fun part of the colors themselves. So the color of money actually represents in three separate colors of different levels of risk, and it ties into what investment vehicle works best with that risk. And
Ooh.
I always like to say, I'm sure you remember this, but as a kid, we always had those magazines that had those personality quizzes in the back
Yes.
where,
Yes.
yeah, it was like, which celebrity should I be friends with? Or what outfit looks best for me? So, kind of think of this as a fun way to see how your investments are aligned with your lifestyle.
Yeah. Well, and before we dive in, Priscilla, I think it's important to point out that there isn't really a good color or bad color here. It's like a stoplight, right? Good green is good, but red can also be good. So it's all those, red, green, and yellow. Or I did that in opposite order, but it's literally a stoplight.
Yeah. And really, it's not one that everyone wants the same answer. This isn't a everyone gets, this score or this color.
Yeah.
I feel like the right mix really does depend on you. So,
Mhm.
to kind of dive in, the first color, we are going to start with green. So,
Okay.
think of green as safety, stability, and maybe just some protection overall. These are designed for people who really like predictability and maybe not a lot of surprises.
Yeah. So the people that really like to know exactly where their money is going.
Oh, for sure. So, like, throwing out some examples, your savings account, those stay safe.
Mm.
CDs, money markets, those are all investment vehicles that we may recommend to somebody who says, I just don't feel like I can take the risk. And based on where you are in your life, that's probably a good choice.
Yeah, so what you're saying is it's it's basically protecting what you've built rather than kind of chasing after the new thing or the biggest return.
Yeah, absolutely. Protection is key, but also keep in mind that if somebody maybe is more on the green side, maybe they're getting closer to retirement and protecting the
Mm.
principal. That's really not a time to start taking risks. So, again, what stage are you at your life really ties into that green bucket of money.
Yeah, great point. I mean, I would say when you're closer to retirement, the more common that green money is, right, Priscilla?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. We see that quite frequently. And then really the next bucket is yellow. So think of it again as like a stable. We're yielding, right? So for a lot of people, it's how do we balance growth, but also protection?
Yeah, so it's kind of like the best of both worlds. Isn't that
For a
Hannah
lot of people,
Montana?
yeah. Hey, Hannah Montana, we're still keeping her current. She just did a show not too long ago
Yes,
as well.
yes.
So, yeah, for a lot of people, they want the money to grow, but maybe not so much ups and downs that comes with being fully invested in the market, like bonds or maybe some of our balanced portfolios that we have here.
Okay, so I feel like this is probably where, again, that's kind of approaching the retirement land, right?
Absolutely. They get to a point where it says, they say, I still want opportunity, but I like my sleep at night. Maybe I don't want to get up and check my phone or check the market to worry about the ups and downs. So that's where the peace of mind comes in is you still have that little bit of growth, but definitely the stability is the main key
Mhm.
there with the
Yeah.
yellow.
So it kind of reminds me of like staying stable with or equal with inflation, right? We talk
Yeah,
about trying to like
absolutely.
beat inflation. And so the green money is not necessarily doing that. You're not outpacing inflation, but the yellow is kind of like, okay, we're going to keep pace with inflation. We'll be good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yielding into the future, right?
Yeah, I like that. All right. So red, right? Red's our final color.
Yes. So
Okay.
we have red. And really, I don't want to be biased against colors, but think of it, it is an aggressive color, red is. And so we
Mhm.
do typically find investments for long term growth in the red bucket of money. So think of, your individual stocks or maybe our more aggressive portfolios or ETFs.
Yeah. So the more risk and kind of the more market swings.
Oh, absolutely. Think about larger ups and downs. So, really, my suggestion is you have to be comfortable with taking on risk. And I think one of the things that I would say is, do you have a longer time horizon? For people who are nearing retirement, we talked about green being their kind of safe space.
Mhm.
Red for you maybe is for somebody like us. We're young and we can take a lot of risk. And so I do believe that you do have to kind of see what does your horizon look like based on your risk as well.
Yeah, sometimes they say the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward, right?
Hey,
So,
absolutely.
I mean, and the other thing too that I want to note is I think red as just a color. We think about stop signs, we think about red lights, and they automatically think it's bad, but I don't necessarily think that's the case here.
No, no, no color is bad at all. In fact, like we said at the beginning too, this isn't a one shoe fits all. I think it goes down
Mhm.
to what is your financial plan and where do you want to go and how do you feel about that? And really, I have a quick game for us, and it'll kind of help understand maybe where these colors tie into. So,
Okay. I'm
Jaclyn, no
nervous.
overthinking. So you wake up tomorrow and you hear that the market dropped 20%. What is your first thought?
Am I checking my account or like pretending the news never happened?
Right. Are you ignoring it or are you checking or are you calling your advisor? So then, honestly, your answer doesn't tell you whether or not you're a good investor or bad. It just tells us how you feel about risk.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, there's no wrong answer. It's literally just about your lifestyle and your comfort level.
Yeah, absolutely. And one more. So
Okay.
your account is up 20% in a year. Now, what is your thought?
Well, that's great in my
Right.
opinion.
Absolutely, it is. So some people see opportunity, but then some people see risk. So most people are in the middle.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that. Well, I think let's kind of end this with some big key takeaways for our listeners, Priscilla. As much as I love games, I think we should continue that. In every episode that we do, I like the quizzing. Most of the time I'm
Yes.
quizzing you, so sometimes I like to be quizzed. But I mean, if someone gets their results back on this camera and they're more green, yellow, or red than they truly expected, I think that that is okay. And truly, most likely, that's going to be the case.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the goal here is your portfolio needs to match your comfort level because you're more likely to stay the course. We talk about how there might be headlines that are worrisome. And so it's so important when you take this assessment to really take your time, answer these. I think it's 10 to 15 questions and really just get the landscape of how are you going to feel if there is that gain that we talked about or maybe the losses. And so for us it's not really about the color that matches you best. It's really your comfort level and based on how you want your investments to grow.
Yeah. And I think a key word here is confidence and, intentionality, right?
Oh, absolutely. If you feel confident, then I feel like one of our big mottos here is having more financial peace of mind to get you to and through retirement. Really, this is a good starting point to just make you feel confident in the choices that you are making as well.
I love the little like plug there of the mission statement.
Hey, listen, we're all about it here. Providing more financial peace of mind is truly our goal. So hopefully this was enlightening to a lot of our clients. I know that sometimes it can feel a little redundant to take the same thing, but hopefully now it makes sense as to why it's so important for everyone.
Yes, I completely agree. And now, I mean, I want to go take that assessment. Can you do it on your website or do you have to schedule a complimentary consultation or how do we get in touch to maybe take that?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So, as always, feel free to visit our website at www.beaconwealthadvisory.com. And up in the right hand corner, you will be able to see how you can take your assessment. And then always feel free to reach out to us at 1 800 8993. And we would love to discuss how your assessment fits with your investment portfolio.
Well, thank you, Priscilla. It was great to have you on the show today. And I love talking about something like this because it's so easy to just, fill out. It takes about, yeah, what'd you say, 10, 15 minutes, not
Max.
even, yeah, to kind of just go through and assess yourself. And it's a great kind of mirror to see what you're thinking and to process it yourself. So if you've enjoyed today's episode, as always, please subscribe, leave us a review, share it with someone who's maybe planning for that retirement. And also, please comment with some questions that you might have for us. We'd love to be able to answer them on future episodes. And maybe, Priscilla, I could get you to do questions out of a hat like Dave did.
Yes. Hey, stay tuned for round two of questions out of a hat.
I love it. Well, that does it for this episode of Retirement Today with our host, Priscilla, today.